Hello, welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings. Generally like to talk a load of bollocks, tabletop gaming in general. And in this video we're going to be counting down our top 10 hidden traitor games. Hidden traitor game is a game that features a traitor that is hidden. So if your favourite hidden traitor game ain't on this list, then that's because A, we think it's shit, or B, because we haven't played it. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel, hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. See ya after this. Bollocks. So number 10 on this list is a game that arguably brought the hidden traitor mechanic to the masses. It's Estridges Resistance. In this game you will be split into two teams. You'll have the resistance and you'll have the corporation, but you won't know who is on each side. So someone will be asked to build a team. All the players will be asked to vote on whether to reject the makeup of the team or accept it. If it's accepted, then you will vote yes or no as to whether you want the mission to succeed or not. If you're part of the resistance, then you will have to vote yes by default, but if you're part of the opposition, then you get the option of voting for or against, right? The idea is for the resistance to flush out the traitors and for the traitors to remain hidden until the allotted number of missions have been completed, right? It's a very, very simple game, but one of the main attractions of this is the amount of banter that you can have at the table. Some people don't like this game because some people can get a little bit shitty when they're trying to flush out the dirty rat, right? But just don't play with those people in it. See, the Resistance, a classic game that we just can't stop playing. So number 9 on this list is a game called Room 25. Funnily enough, you're going to have 25 rooms in this game. They're represented by different tiles, right? Okay, we're sort of cheating here because the actual game doesn't feature a traitor by default, but there is a traitor mode that actually turns out to be the best way to play this game, right? Everyone's going to take the role of a special character with a special ability, and you'll be moving into different rooms, flipping tiles over to negotiate traps and different effects that the tiles might generate. The idea is to find the exit and escape, and the game's theme is embellished if you've got somebody in your group that is trying to mess about with your plans, right? There's a couple of expansions for Room 25, makes the game even better, makes it even more weird and wacky. So whilst it's not going to win any awards for complexity or longevity, it's just a nice little romp that's got the flavour of the Cube series of films, if you have seen them. If you haven't, go and have a look at them, right? But yeah, Room 25, decent game of exploration with the option of adding a hidden traitor, right? So number 8 on this list is a game by Rob Daviau. It's quite a few years old now. It's Betrayal at House on the Hill. One of the problems I've got with this game is that a lot of the haunts in the core box are broken. It has recently got a reprint, so maybe they've managed to fix the problems with the haunts. Somebody did go through all the haunts and fix them and dump a PDF somewhere on the web. Can't remember where I found it. Yeah, essentially, Betrayal House on the Hill is another tile laying game. You're going to be placing tiles, moving through a house. You're going to be drawing cards that are going to give you like special abilities and special weapons to fight monsters when the haunt occurs. The haunt may occur after every round. You're going to roll a certain amount of dice, and if you roll more pips on the dice than the number of rounds that you've had, then the haunt will happen. You don't know who the traitor is going to be, and you don't really know what's going to happen. Again, one of the problems with this game is that if you're playing with somebody that isn't really confident or doesn't really understand what the haunt means, then the game is going to fall apart, right? But that being said, it's still a fantastic game to play, especially on Halloween, and it's just a classic hidden traitor game that everybody should have a sniff at. So number 7 on this list is, I suppose it's another cheat in it because it's a game that may or may not feature a traitor. It's Archipelago. Archipelago is regarded as a bit of a 4X game. It's like expand, exploit, exterminate, and nobody can ever remember the 4th X. You'll be harvesting goods, you'll be flogging them to the internal and external markets. You'll be hiring the services of different personalities, and all the while you'll be trying to complete your secret objective, which may be to hurry along the prospect of a rebellion, right? Archipelago takes a lot of mechanisms from games that were made previously and melds them all into a really, really good package, right? It's still a very, very strong game today, even though it's around about 10 or 11 years old, yeah? And the fact you may have somebody working against you really does add a nice bit of flavour to the game, yeah? So whilst Archipelago, I suppose, technically isn't a hidden traitor game, the fact that you could pull out the traitor from the deck of hidden objectives means that this is actually a hidden traitor game for me, and I really couldn't give a fuck what you or anybody else thinks. So number 6 on this list is a game that's pretty hard to get hold of nowadays. I think it's called Police Precinct, right? We always play this with the good cop, bad cop variant, where one of you may be working to hurry your demise, right? Police Precinct sees you take the role of a US police officer and you'll be running around the streets trying to solve crimes, doing over hoods, and you'll be trying to find the murderer before the time runs out, yeah? It's a pure Ameritrash experience. It is quite a difficult game to finish at the best of times. But if you put in the hidden traitor, it just ramps up the difficulty. It ramps up that fear of the unknown, right? Police Precinct is a wonderful game. A little bit luck-based, so it ain't going to turn everybody on, right? If you're looking for a hidden traitor game with oodles of theme, then Police Precinct might just be the one for you, you know what I mean? So number 5 on this list is a game called Deception Murder in Hong Kong. This game plays up to, I think it's like 1 billion people. So a quarter of the population of China could play this game. I'm actually lying out my ass because it only plays up to, hang on, I'll tell you. It plays up to 14 players, which is more than enough, right? In Deception Murder in Hong Kong, everyone's going to be given a hidden role. There's going to be a murderer in amongst you. And what you'll be trying to do, you'll be putting cards down on the table that will give you clues as to who the murderer may or may not be. It may be the case that it's a murderer that's putting the clues out just to throw you off the scent. One of the big draws of this game is only takes about 30 minutes to play. It's got the whiff of games like Mysterium, that sort of thing, where you'll be handing each other information that may or not be relevant to what you're trying to achieve, right? It's an excellent hidden traitor game, very thematic, and the fact that it plays up to 14 players means it can be used in a party atmosphere. Not that there's many party atmospheres in my house at this moment in time, right? So number 4 on this list is a game called Dark Moon. Dark Moon is the official release of this thing, a print and play game called Battlestar Galactica Express. Dark Moon has a theme that is akin to The Thing, and what makes this different is you'll be rolling dice that will allow you to contribute to threats and emergencies that will occur throughout the game, right? And this means that sometimes if you roll badly, you will be forced to add shit dice to solving the emergency, right? Which means that people are going to accuse you of being a traitor, where you're saying, well, all I could do was roll these shit symbols, so there's nothing I can do about it. It's a very novel way of implementing that sense of doubt when it comes to accusing other people of being a traitor, right? Dark Moon, or BSG Express, was created because of one of the major criticisms of the original Battlestar Galactica is that it was too long. You can play this in a couple of hours, and it plays up to 7 players, I think. Whilst it doesn't have the thematic grandeur of its big brother, it's still a fantastic romp through the hidden traitor territory. And if you like films like The Thing, then Dark Moon is going to resonate with you quite a bit. So number 3 on this list is a game that we got rid of years and years ago. I thought I'd take another look at it, and I tried to find it, and the prices on the second-hand market were just absolutely obscene, right? It's Battlestar Galactica. When I first got hold of this, I thought, yeah, it's a good game, but it took over 4 hours to play, and I just found it to be a bit of a slog. And the fact that it didn't really work with 6 players, seeing as a lot of our game nights are 6 players, meant it wasn't getting to the table that much. But we did think about going back to it, couldn't afford the prices, so I ended up buying a Spanish version for like 20 quid, and I translated it myself. Battlestar Galactica is based on the, I suppose it's now ancient TV show, isn't it, of the same name. You'll each be taking control of a character from the TV show, each with their own special abilities and each with their own foibles, right? You'll be moving around Galactica, taking different actions, trying to maintain your food, trying to repair ships, trying to fend off Cylon invaders, and all the while you'll be trying to deal with different crises by playing cards into a communal pool, not knowing who the Cylons are, who are going to be playing cards into that communal pool to try and ultimately kill you, right? I suppose Battlestar Galactica is a classic hidden role game. It's way up there. It's a game that for us has improved with age, but the criticisms I had of this game are still in place. Is the fact that it's too bloody long, and there's some really fiddly rules to do with Cylon sympathizers and all that sort of shit that don't really work that well, yeah? And as such, it's not going to occupy the top spot, it's going to occupy the 3rd spot. So number 2 on this list is a game that is set against the backdrop of a zombie apocalypse. It's Dead of Winter. In Dead of Winter, you'll be rolling dice to take different actions. You'll be taking on the role of a group of survivors trying to protect the shelter from zombies that will be trying to break in. But not only that, you'll also be trying to protect the shelter from problems caused by a traitor in your midst. A bit like Battlestar Galactica, you'll be having to deal with different crises every turn. You'll be playing cards into a communal pool again. But the difference between this and all the other hidden traitor games on this list is that you'll be drawing what's known as a crossroads card every turn. And this will give you sometimes harrowing options to choose from. Depending on what you choose, you'll either get a reward or maybe a bit of a bane, right? You could argue that with the Long Night expansion, there's too much bloat in Dead of Winter with the Raxon expansion and like the invaders and all that sort of thing. But there's a huge diverse range of characters that takes into account most of the Hollywood stereotypes that you'll likely come across. You can even cuddle up to Bubbles the monkey in this game if you so desire, right? You know you want a bit of that primate love. There's also the Warren Billy Connolly's expansion, which lets you play with up to 12 players, and you can split the Long Night and the original version into 2 opposing colonies that will go head to head against each other, right? It's quite an interesting proposition. Dead of Winter is a highly thematic game. It's got loads and loads of variety, loads of different ways to play the game, and yeah, it's a game that we're never ever going to be getting rid of, right? So number 1 on this list, and our favourite hidden traitor game of all time, is a game designed primarily by Bruno Cafala, published by Days of Wonder. It's Shadows over Camelot. Shadows over Camelot sees you take control of one of the knights of the Round Table from the Arthurian legends, and you'll essentially be playing cards to create different sort of poker hands to complete different quests on a variety of boards. You might want to try and kick the Black Knight's arse so you can get some white swords around the table, which is how you win the game. You might want to try and extract Excalibur from the lake. You might want to get hold of Sir Lancelot's armour and parade around Camelot like a ponce. Or you might want to just throw some rotten fish heads at some siege engines on Camelot's lawn. So there's a couple of reasons why this is our favourite hidden traitor game of all time. First of all is the off-the-charts production quality for its age. I think it was released in 2007 or something like that. It's got some fantastic miniatures. It's a very colourful game. This is from an era when Days of Wonder was famed for the exceptional quality of the components, which sadly, since they were sold to Asmodee, hasn't really been the case in recent years. Yeah. Second reason why we really do like this game is the simple rule set. It gives you a similar experience to more complex games like Battlestar Galactica and condenses it and streamlines it down into a manageable set of mechanics, right? It's literally just playing cards from your hand, but for some reason it feels like it's much more than that. It also plays up to 7 players with no problems whatsoever. It even goes up to 8 if you've got the mythical Merlin expansion, which I don't really believe actually exists because I've never ever seen it in anybody's hands, right? So yeah, Shadows over Camelot without doubt is the finest hidden traitor game of all time. So there you go, that is our top 10 hidden traitor games of all time. Do you agree with our list? If not, why not? What have we forgotten? What games have we not put on this list? If you're new it, then consider subscribing to this channel. Do all that YouTube bullshit. We'll see you next time.